So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome to the Connecting with Coincidence radio show with Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, bringing together the world's synchronicity experts to help you use meaningful coincidences to develop spiritually, psychologically, and practically. For more information, put Connecting with Coincidence into your web browser to find the book, website, Psychology Today blog, YouTube channel, and Facebook page. And now, here is the host of the Connecting with Coincidence radio show, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD.
Hello out there. Welcome to CC with BB, Connecting with Coincidence, yes, with Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and that is me. And I'm going to ask you to, when you go outside sometime, look up into the sky. There is a mystery coincidence up there. The sun and the moon are 93 million miles from us, separate from each other. They're almost 90 million miles separate from each other, yet appear to be here on Earth about the same size. Right there in front of us, there is this remarkable coincidences. Their diameters are directly proportional to their distance from Earth. The moon is just the right size at just the right distance to look like it's the same size as the sun. What a coincidence! What a coincidence! What is going on here? Well, it's to at least remind us that coincidences are a major part of our life right there in front of us. And one place we see coincidences is in romance. And dating sites seem to be losing business. They're trying to make dating into an adventure, an alluring experiment. So what if it doesn't work out, they say? Experience. But let's look at synchronicities. They're real-life experiences. They come with their own built-in amazement. Dating sites are just trying to sell you amazement, trying to manufacture it for you. Romantic, meaningful coincidences provide opportunities for wonderful experiences of love and love in eternity. And they are also proving grounds for major disappointments as well as personal growth. You don't need dating sites. If you pay attention to the synchronicities in your life, you can find the eternity and love of romance right there in front of you. Relationships require real work, and synchronicity-built relationships also do. But then again, there's that wonderful experience of love and eternity. I encourage you to sharpen your sensitivity to coincidences and to examine their potential uses and misuses. Read my book, Connecting with Coincidence, and learn along with me, Synchronicity Spoken Here. Our guest today is Terje Simonsen. He's a Norwegian author and historian of ideas specializing in the esoteric and the occult. He has through introductory courses on central philosophical and literary works, presented many interesting ideas at the University of Oslo. Today he works as a freelance writer. He's also an avid salsa dancer, an amateur pianist, and a chess player. Since childhood, Terje has been fascinated by the paranormal, especially phenomena such as telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, and healing. As a scholar, he has taken this interest into in the paranormal as a starting point to explore traditions, both esoteric and occult, as manifestations of our expanded consciousness. The result of this exploration can be found in his new book, Our Secret Powers: Telepathy, Clairvoyance, and Precognition, a short history of nearly everything paranormal. Welcome to the show, Terje.
Thanks a lot, Bernie.
I very much appreciate your book. You have done a thorough overview of all things parapsychological. And what's most fascinating is to see where you got into things that are not just Western, but are indigenous and ancient. Tell us what's been most striking about having done this work and put together this wonderful book.
It's so many sources and so many threads in this web, so it's difficult really what to focus on.
Well, let me ask you one specific question that I find very intriguing in all this. You came out with an interesting term, the mental internet.
Yes. Well, that's based on kind of summing up many of my experiences, and also one kind of a strange experience. I was going to a date some years ago, and I asked old guy, Norwegian psychic from those kind of Roma people, or travelers as they call them. And he said, this is going to be a nice date. And I can also tell you that this woman is 1 meter and 64 centimeters tall.
This woman is what?
This woman is 1 meter and 64 centimeters tall.
Oh.
That's quite precise.
That's very precise, yes.
Very precise. And I went to this date, and being the curious guy that I am, I couldn't keep myself back. So during the date, I asked her, just by the way, how tall are you? And then she said, 1 meter and 64. And, I was floored. How could he know? And next day I called him again and said, how on earth did you know this? And then we somehow, more or less together, what is called compared to the internet, where you put in a search word on Google, for instance, and then you hit the enter button and you get lots of information. And more or less good, it can be sorted well or sorted lousy, but you will get lots of information connected to the theme you're searching. So it struck me suddenly, it's just like that it functioned, because he told me that he did not have control exactly what came through. But when I asked him the question about her and the date, he got lots of different information. It could be the father's occupation, it could be the brother's color of hair, for instance. But what came through by some kind of coincidence was her height. And so he just told me. So I found it's kind of a search engine, and he has got a very good search engine.
That is not exactly what you were looking for, just how high she was, or what.
No.
I think you were looking for just how this date was going to evolve for you.
Oh yes, of course. And he said something about that as well. But he ended his kind of, call it prediction or clairvoyance or reading, or what you would call it, with this statement. And
what did he predict about the relationship? So he proved his capacity to describe her in the present. But what could he tell you about the future with her?
Well, what he said was there was a lawyer that was interested in her as well, and I had to really work on the relationship. Otherwise, this lawyer would outshine me. And I was, the long story is, I met her, and it was very nice. But she was in fact dating this lawyer. It was a colleague of her. And I was going through town one night, and suddenly I saw her, and she was in a stupor. She was very drunk, and she was sitting on the lap of this lawyer. So really, he described, the danger of the relationship in a very good way.
I would be interested also, not in just the height, but on the lawyer, but what he could see about how the two of you would feel together. Was there potential for the relationship to work?
Well, I must be honest with you, and I feel his qualities was not very good at that. And that is my experience also with many psychics. One thing is to be psychic, and the other thing is to be wise. And we said this guy is very psychic, but he's not always wise, and he can be kind of prejudiced. For instance, he does not like homosexuals and lesbian people. And a friend of mine, she's a lesbian, and she talked to him, and what he said about her was, say, tainted by his prejudice about lesbian and homosexual.
What you're saying is extremely important, Terje. The idea that you have to take into consideration the biases of the psychic as the psychic is giving you a reading. I don't think I get people telling me that as clearly as you have just done.
No, that is kind of bitter experience for me, and I have, as part of this project, and also my personal interest and also my personal conflicts, I have consulted many psychics, and I have checked them up against each other, and that is my clear conclusion. What you also summed up here, that the bias of the psychic will very often taint the picture that they will paint for you.
Yeah, we have about a minute and a half in this segment. And I want to keep coming back to your idea of the mental internet. I have an idea about what seems to be the same thing. I call it the psychosphere, that is a medium can say that through which telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, and healing take place. Please begin to describe, and we'll continue this in the next segment, what you mean by the mental internet.
Well, it's kind of a modernized term for what is usually called collective consciousness in a way, and it's a very common and very old idea in esoteric lore. For instance, in alchemy, you have the anima mundi, the world spirit, and you have lots of different concepts describing this sphere. In Castaneda's work, his interpretation of the Nahual could be one, and that somehow we are linked together. Our consciousness is not basically an individual thing, but a collective thing. And it struck me that the internet is our most modern and descriptive metaphor for this, because the internet is not inside my head or inside your head, but it's between all our heads, just like the internet is between all our PCs and mobile phones.
Yes,
so
we'll continue this in our next segment. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, and our guest today is Terje Simonsen.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
Welcome back to CC with BB. I am your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, host of this show, CC with BB, and we are talking with Terje Simonsen. And Terje has, by his great experience with paranormal personally, parapsychological personally, and remarkable interviews and review of the history of ideas in parapsychology, come up with a concept that's old but new. The idea of the mental internet as a name for the links among and between us, our human and animal and plant and earth minds. When I hear mental internet, Terje, I think of I stay here on Earth with that concept that it's local. I think of it as a local phenomenon, potentially as a universal phenomenon. But I like to be able to stay right here on Earth with the mental internet. When you describe it, when you talk about it, are you talking about like unus mundus, like a concept that covers everything, the whole universe?
Well, basically it's a metaphor, so perhaps I will not be so extremely specific about it, but the idea is describing how the collective consciousness works, really. And it works like an internet where you send telepathic emails to friends and family, and you can make clairvoyant downloads of information. So how far these mental internet stretches, I speculate about that in my book, and we can go with a concept of Akasha from Erwin Laszlo, and then it's a really cosmic thing. And but we can also just describe it as a local phenomenon between, say, a family and friends, and the information you need for your life here on Earth. So, but basically, I think the cosmos is interconnected. So, in the last resort, it would be resembling the unus mundus. But as I said, it's more a functional term to describe how we can interact with this collective consciousness.
Well, it's important to be able to use these technological metaphors. There was an old book from the 30s called Mental Radio, and it was the idea of the same thing, that we can connect each other. We connect each other like we are radio stations, beaming to each other. And they didn't have an internet back then. They had radios. Now we have an internet. And when you use the example of telepathy sending like Gmail connections, like emails to each other, that's still here on Earth. And I find it useful to stay earthbound with this collective consciousness, because we're talking more about the confusion and complications of understanding our own minds right here on Earth. So that's where I tend to stay. And I want to see where other people were going with this, because to put it as the universal thing is a little bit on the large side. But you've made that point very clearly. I'd like to know more about what you found out and and reported in your book of things that were striking to you. I think some of the African Bushman descriptions you had are worth talking about, for example.
Yes, they have a very interesting, the San people in Botswana, they call the Bushmen. The term has been disputed. It could be perceived as derogatory, but most of the San people seem to be comfortable with it themselves. So I will not say oversteer that. But they have an extreme old culture, and it's not a written culture. Of course, they have a kind of symbols and that kind of thing, but basically they transmit information by what they call classroom experiences, and that would be a kind of telepathic experience. And there they can contact ancestors, and they can learn about herbs, how to use them. They can learn about rituals and different kind of things, and that is making kind of clairvoyant downloads from what I call the mental internet, and what they in fact call classroom. So I joke a bit about that and say, in fact, the Bushmen are the one who started what we call web-based education.
No, that's good. That's very good. That's very good. What struck me about that description of yours is that they get information from ancestors that the ancestors knew. What about new information? New adaptations, like what to do with all these white men running around them? Do they get information about how to handle something their ancestors did not have to deal with as much?
That's a very interesting question. I don't know that because I have not interviewed anyone about that. But some friends of mine have been living together, very close to Bushmen people for many years, and they say they really have problems meeting modern culture. So perhaps it's more kind of a storehouse of information rather than it's a kind of spiritual guidance about what to do with, say, white men and the future and meeting modernity. That's my impression. And also you can find that with indigenous people all over the world, really, they very often get problems meeting the modern world. Also, say, the Eskimos or Inuit people of Greenland, as I've seen in Denmark also, lots of alcoholism amongst them and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I think that's very true. What struck me though about the classroom of the Bushmen is it's like they're reading old Encyclopedia Britannicas rather than updated ones, and somehow rather than do that. Would it be possible, and you can't answer this question, but it made me think that if their ancestors who are up there in the mental internet in some form or another could then be asked to connect to information also that's in the mental internet that they don't necessarily access, that they can access it because they're up there, and that information can be then filtered to the Bushmen right now trying to learn how to live in the new environment.
That's a very interesting idea. I must honestly say that I have not delved into that idea and speculation there. So very interesting, but you
don't know. I mean, that's what I want to do is learn from these guys about how they get to those classrooms for ancient information, for old information that's relevant now, but also can get to the future. You understand my question. So I want to be able to do that. I mean, if they can do that, what they're doing, I want to be able to do what they're doing.
Yeah. We have this psychologist called Bradford Keeney. He's a professor and American. He has been living with the Bushmen, and he is also initiated as a shaman of their tradition. And he will probably know quite a lot of that. And he also run kind of workshop where he helps people doing, I think, partly what you are wanting. So perhaps you should just send him a mail or say join a course with him or something. They have some kind of ecstatic rituals where they're jumping up and down, you know, coming into kind of a trance state and seems to be connecting with this sphere. And he is a certified psychologist and written 20 books and professor at the university in Texas. So really he's very. So
I can ask him that question. And a friend of mine has one of his books, so I'll get his name from you again later. Why don't you tell us about in Australia? There's something similar. There's the dream world or dream place.
They call it, usually translated, the dream time.
Dream time.
Dream time, yes, and that's also an extremely interesting concept where you can connect with the ancestor, and really it's a timeless sphere where you're leaving. We usually organize our world on an axis of time and axis of space. I met him on the pier yesterday. Then there's space and time. But when you enter the dream time, you leave all these kind of matrix, time and space matrix behind, and go into the sphere, timeless sphere. And there you can meet the ancestors, and you are really with the world as it was when it was created, and you transcend completely. So they have great rituals for entering this sphere, the Australian Aborigines.
And what do they find in going past space and time?
Well, I think they use it also for mythological purposes, but they can use it for, say, telepathy, getting information, and also where if a tribe is to reallocate, for instance, where should we go? Where will the hunting be good? Where can yes, and that kind of things. So you can consult that sphere also for not daily life in that, but kind of important decisions in your mundane sphere also.
And they, like the Bushmen, have rituals by which to get into the states of consciousness that is dream time. And those could describe some of those rituals. You started to do that.
Well, you have this didgeridoo playing. It's quite famous. Well, good. This meditation. You have this hollow, say, what is called trunk of a little tree, and you use those sounds for meditation to alter states of consciousness. That is one kind which, a lot of modern hippies use the didge to get into. That's a Polish guy I know. He smokes a bit of a kind of weed and does this, and he is seems to be able to open to clairvoyance through that kind of ritual.
Yeah, there are all kinds of attempts by people drumming, and now binaural sounds that seem to put people in altered states. There is in the human being a desire to alter consciousness, and we're going to alter into the next episode. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X Zone Broadcast Network. We're talking with Terje Simonsen, author of Our Secret Powers.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by L.A. Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Welcome back to CC with BB. I'm your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and we are talking with Terje Simonsen, and we're getting into altered states of consciousness, which is a lot of fun to do under the right conditions, and not just fun, but it's at that learning entertainment interface that I think so many of us enjoy being at, because what you've done, Terje, is get into lots of different ways with lots of different people who alter their consciousness to get into the mental internet or dream time or whatever name you might call it. I call it the psychosphere. And what have you come across for yourself that seems like a good way or good ways to alter consciousness to get into precognitive capacities and the like?
Well, I have used meditation. The transcendental meditation is quite a famous technique by Maharishi, where the Beatles used it, and David Lynch and Paul McCartney and lots of famous people used transcendental meditation. So I used that for several years, and I also used binaural beats. That's kind of frequencies that will alter your brain waves if you use them over time. I used a system called Holosync. A guy named Bill Harris developed that, but there are lots of different systems, also Hemisync, and there's also this guy called Master Charles. He made a system called Synchronicity, in fact, and so and you can make your own tapes from the internet. Really, it's programs where you.
Well, let's slow that down a little bit. I live near Master Charles. He's down the road from Charlottesville here in Virginia, his Synchronicity place, and I haven't gone over and talked with him yet. But that might be a good idea now that you mention him. Explain a bit for our audience what binaural beats actually do.
Well, it's you have to have a headset, and you have one frequency in one ear, and you have another frequency in another ear. Say you have 540 hertz in one ear, and you have 545 hertz in the other ear, and you also have some kind of what is called a white noise, waves breaking. Against the shore, or you have some rain falling or something, that masks this frequency, just to make it a pleasant experience. But these frequencies, they will work on your brain because there's a difference, say, between 540 hertz and 545 hertz, and that is 5 hertz in difference. And somehow this will induce a kind of compensation frequency in your brain, starting to say make oscillations of 5 hertz each second, and that's a very deep frequency that usually you have lots of when you are dreaming. And so how you will change gear in your consciousness by inducing that kind of binaural beats, as they are called. That's his basic technique.
Oh, I didn't get so the difference of 5 hertz gets induces the between the two different beats in each one beat in one ear and one beat in the other ear. That difference of 5 hertz induces the brain to go to 5 hertz rhythms.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can have it go to different. You often start, for instance, at 12 hertz and going down to say 10 hertz to 8 hertz to 6 hertz to 5, 4, 3. You can come as deep as 3. Then you are deep into the dreamless sleep state.
Have you run across the Schumann resonance? And it's 7.8 hertz resonance. It's
Oh,
a pardon.
yes, I read about this Schumann frequency. Yes. Mm-hmm.
It because it gets close to the 5 hertz that is associated with dream-like spaces, in which it seems like being in that space opens up a porthole or a portal to a higher consciousness. Is that the way you think of it?
Well, I'm no expert on the Schumann frequency. I read about it, and I'm open to what you say, but I will not say that I reach any conclusion. My experience is from using those holosync tapes for several years, so I have experienced that they will alter your consciousness. But how is that related to the Earth's own frequency and such? I will not. I'm not expert on that. There is one guy, I think he's a Canadian, Michael Persinger. He's a psychiatrist. He's done lots of experiments about these things. He's developed what he called the God helmet, and you can take that helmet on, and he will use electromagnetic fields to induce different kind of frequencies. And he claims also that is what happens when the Earth have special, for instance, those tectonic plates scrape against each other, then there will be very strong electromagnetic discharges influencing brains of people in that area and lots of things. But I'm no expert on that. But Michael Persinger, you can check, or the listeners can check his work.
Now that is there's a lot of interesting things you just said, but the Earth tectonic plates creating electromagnetic changes or different hertz frequency being emitted, and that we can do something with our own electromagnetic technology, like this helmet you talked about or the binaural beats.
Yes.
That it's beginning to show how electromagnetic fields influence consciousness.
It seems so, yes.
It seems so. It's hard to get away from that. And so I'm going to take us from the from the Earth and the helmet binaural beats to the dance floor.
Yes.
Because there's something that goes on the dance floor that seems to be something like what we're talking about. Is there?
Yes, surely. As in my description, you said I'm an avid salsa dancer, and I felt that very strongly by Latin American rhythms. You know, lots of these old rhythms is coming from tribal rituals in Africa. The slaves took the rhythm with them over. And if you go into, for instance, the Cuban tradition, there you have Santeria, which is kind of a Cuban voodoo, not the bad kind of a voodoo, but for healing and changing gears of consciousness. You use the drumming. And also, of course, when you use these drums on the dance floor, you can get into kind of trance states. So I experienced the dancing for, say, 4 hours without breaks, really. And you can feel that your gears in the brain are changing. So dance can be a wonderful way of also altering your brain waves, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, there's some data coming out, evidence, again, we need it sometimes, to say how dance coordinates brain functioning. Parts of the brain get coordinated together and then also join in the same rhythm rather than being disconnected and doing different rhythms.
Yes. That is the frequency following response, it's called in the brain. And that is what is utilized in this binaural beats that we're talking about, and also mononeural beats, where this, just kind of, drumming, for instance, where you have one rhythm and that synchronizes the brain around this, bass pulse. So that's a very powerful. Jung has written about his experiences in Ethiopia, where he participated in a drumming ritual, and he had kind of scary experience by that, really. long story, but I'm very positive to use dance for this. You can also use halogenic or psychoactive plants of different kinds. I will not say anything against that, because used in a responsible, in a good setting, that can also be very useful therapeutically. But basically, I think people are more well off cultivating, say, meditation, dance, and that kind of natural techniques.
Well, psychiatry is now coming back to the use of hallucinogens as treatment for a variety of disorders. Places around the country are doing that, in Los Angeles, at Johns Hopkins, in Baltimore, and other places, to lose it. But doctors are into medicines. Doctors are not into drumming. They're not into binaural beats. They're not even interested in breathing and how breathing can change people's behavior. I'm amazed at how ignorant modern medicine is allowing itself to be in not seeing what ancient people and people right now are discovering about more natural ways of helping people feel better and gain, for us, is gaining, and in this discussion, gaining higher consciousness.
I completely agree.
As we come to the end of this one, this segment, I'm also fascinated with rhythm and the heart and the heartbeat. It's not just the brain we're talking about with drums and with rhythms. There's something about having the rhythms hit the basic heart rates of, say, 70 beats per minute, 60 to 80, and then doubling them to to get the heart moving, which gets the body moving, which gets the brain moving, which gets the whole thing moving. So I want to keep the heart involved with this as we talk about altered states of consciousness. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X-Zone Broadcast Network. And our guest is Terje Simonsen, author of a great book, Our Secret Powers, Telepathy, Clairvoyance, and Precognition.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Eli Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back. This is CC with BB, Connecting with Coincidence, with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, and that is me. And we are talking to Terje Simonsen, and we are exploring his exploration of telepathy, clairvoyance, and precognition, and his short history of nearly everything paranormal that he describes in his book, Our Secret Powers. How has that book changed you, Terje? How has that research affected you in regard to your understanding of the world?
Well, very much in a positive way. It has confirmed some kind of suspicions I have had earlier, but it kind of systemized my perspective on consciousness being a collective phenomenon, not just a thing going on inside my own head. And that has have a wide and positive alteration of my own perspectives on myself as a contributor in this collective field, and also have formed some kind of basis from a more optimistic view on the world, really. And somehow it's connecting with old philosophical traditions I knew from my scholarly studies about, monks meditating in Himalayas, claiming to influence world peace and that kind of stuff. And also in the Christian tradition, the Carmelite monks and nuns, they doing prayer for hours each day and claim that also influence world peace. And so it's kind of have summed up many loose ends from different kind of branches of study I've done, and also somehow reinforced a kind of meaning to say my own spiritual practice. And so
there's a town in Iowa that had meditators doing something similar to the town, reducing some kinds of problematic behavior in the town through their meditations. So we have monks, we have people in the Himalayas doing meditation that somehow helps the world around them in some ways. At least that's their claim. Now, we're getting to a place now in the world where we have to have larger groups of people having intentions that are beneficial to the earth and to the peoples and the plants and the animals of earth. And you become more optimistic as a result of your tour through these cultures, through the research. What do you get from your mental internet, and what do you get from your studies that suggest how we might, those of us who want and see the need for helping the earth be better, how do you think we can come together in the same way the monks have done in their Himalayan attempts?
Well, I think meditation is a beautiful way, and both if you do it regularly in your own practice, you will have a little influence, and if you do it together in a group, as has been tradition in both in transcendental meditation and also in Buddhist tradition, the concept of sangha, when you get together to say, reinforce your intention in a collective way. Also, the works of the white lodges of the Western esoteric traditions, for instance, Servants of the Light, which is of the Golden Dawn tradition. There you have also, you are cultivating the egregore, the collective mind, to say, enforce your good intentions about what is to happen in the world. So working with yourself, working in a group, I think that's a very good way to start. Yeah.
It must start with each self.
Yeah.
That is very clear. I saw that on the dance floor where we tried to have it be a safe space for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't sure what safe meant until I realized that the person that I needed to feel safe with was me.
Yes.
That it was my kind of negative things that could be causing the trouble that I thought might be around me. And it was a startling revelation to experience that. I could be told that, but to see the negative in me that might then be influencing my fear of what could happen around me or negatively affect others is where I had to start. We all have to start this. It took me a long time to get to a place like that and doing a variety of different things. And we need to accelerate the process by which that can happen. And I wonder, I think so, but I wonder what you see as the role of coincidence awareness in expanding human consciousness.
Well, as you started the show with saying, have a look up to the sky, and it gives you a kind of feeling of connectedness when you start to see those coincidences. So I think it's a kind of fine-tuning your intuition to the workings of your own mind. It is a very complex theme, of course, but if you somehow, there's a good book about this by Miss Sonia Choquette. She's kind of quite famous spiritual teacher. The title is excellent. It's Trust Your Vibes, and she says that you have to use have the three points is important. You have to recognize that you have vibes, and you have to listen to your vibes, and you have
listen.
To
I'm sorry. Listen to what?
Your vibes, vibrations.
That's what I thought you said. Vibes, V-I-B-E-S. Yes. Listen
Nice.
to your. Listen to your vibration. I thought you also might have said light, both of which are good ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to your light, and feel your light, and listen to your vibes or feel your vibes. Okay, trust your vibes. What does that mean to you to trust your vibes?
Well, if you are in a connection and you feel that something is not right about that, you should listen to that and not act on it right away, but to expand your awareness about you in this being in this situation, and that will give you information both about yourself and about other people's, and that of course is training. When you start playing the violin, it sounds awful, and if you're not very used to use your intuition, you can you get things quite wrong at the start, but you have to start, and as you train, it becomes better, and suddenly it sounds beautiful, so you have to train your intuition, and it will help you who to hang out with, what to do your time, perhaps to change the job, to avoid certain people and spaces with a very negative energy, for instance, and that kind of things. It will give you information. It will give you guidance that is really invaluable. So, yeah.
The means by which you just suggested that we learn how to play the violin of our vibes violin, is by trial and error, is by putting yourself in situations and feeling the vibes and then seeing which way to go. Is it positive or is it negative? Is it good with this person or it isn't? On the dance floor, I get to do that pretty regularly by going past different people and seeing where the vibes are neutral, open, or closed in regard to having contact with me as I go by. And sometimes it's really fun to feel the vibes from other people as they send them to me, and I'm not even paying much attention to them. I can. So the dance floor helps me, but what other ways can our people in our audience use to learn to play the violin of their vibes better?
Well, also if you have contact with a good psychotherapist of the transpersonal type, that can somehow be a mentor, helping you to relate to this collective field of consciousness, that could be very valuable. A Jungian therapist, for instance, or a good Gestalt therapist, or anything like that. A wise person. I was lucky and studied with a very wise old woman, a Gestalt therapist, and she was very spiritual, and I learned so much from her. It's the practical application of this wisdom. How did she deal with conflicts in her life, professionally and privately, for instance? So if you have the possibility to be close to a master of some kind, that can also be very helpful if you are aware of not being kind of enslaved by his or her authority, of course. So meditation, dance, psychotherapy of the right kind, there are so many ways that can help you getting closer to yourself and more intimate with the world.
The most important thing is to recognize that you can pick up vibes, pick up feelings, pick up energy patterns around you and from within you, and becoming aware of that capacity of human beings to do that is a major step. I write about interpersonal energy in between me and patients sometimes, and it's there, but we don't have the machinery to measure it yet. At least I don't think so. Though it seems to be possible to do that, measure that interpersonal energy. Right now, people require science to be, maybe not even so much anymore, to tell them that it's there. And we have about a minute left, Terje, and I just want to emphasize how important your book is and how well written it is and how comprehensive it is in its overview. I mean, you don't go through some details because you can't, but it's such a masterfully done overview that I thank you very much on behalf of people interested in parapsychological things for having done the book.
Thanks a lot, Bernie. It has been a joy writing it, and I get so much positive response also. So it seems that I, in a good way, have hit a nerve with quite a few people there.
You have. Well, thank you very, very much for being on the show. You're listening to Connecting with Coincidence with your host, Dr. Bernie Beitman, MD, on the X Zone Broadcast Network. And our guest has been Terje Simonsen, author of Our Secret Powers, Telepathy, Clairvoyance, and Precognition, A Short History.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Eli Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.